Can they hear me? They hear me live out there. Next beat. That ain't the beat I want to do.
Those was wood
another
beats
beat.
right
Another
there.
beat. Nope. Give me another beat. Give me another beat. Nope. That's not it. That's the beat. Turn it up.
Oh, word.
Turn it up. I gotta hear it a little louder. Can you make it louder than my headphones? Turn me up in my headphones. I'm still stuck in the 80s/90s. Lottos, kangaroo boots, nanny ghosts, Velas, jumpsuits and troops, Junos, color Levi's, Bugs Bunny sweaters with the rhinestone ring on it. Fighting and making up the next day. Nobody getting shot. Working or hustling to get it, or get got. We had love for the streets, our family, our foes, our friends. Respect for the elderly. Pager/payphone, sneaking into Adams Theater. Watching Crush grooving tougher than leather. Hopping gates out the college port to bang out, cause you don't want to get caught at mom's crib or at Vaughn's crib. Eating funny dinner with the fam. Church every Sunday, 8 o'clock a.m. And even if I fell asleep in the back row or played sick, no matter what, man, I still had to go 80s, baby. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. 80s, baby. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper.
Welcome. This is the XCast here on the EmpireMedia.com. Episode number 63 of the XCast. It's day 4,889 in the search for Tim Chevrolet. I'm your host, Josh Houselander. With me, as always, the mastermind of the EmpireMedia.com, the Emperor himself, Adam Hernandez. What is up, Adam?
Nothing, man. What's going on?
Nothing much, dude. Yeah, I never really thought about that. If, since you are, like, the owner of the EmpireMedia.com, that, like, totally makes you, like, the Emperor. So am I Vader?
Are you Vader?
I think I'm Vader, yeah. Yeah, well, because Dorf...
Are you Grand Moff Tarkin?
No, Dorf is Grand Moff Tarkin.
Okay.
For sure. He's so serious. Dorf from the Majors.
As you wish.
Is totally Grand Moff Tarkin. Totally. He's all business. Gets down to the point.
So Sean would be the admiral then.
Yeah, or maybe General Veers.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's definitely General Veers. Plus, General Veers is like Vader's favorite. You know.
So does that mean you're gonna kill me then?
Probably not. Not for a while, anyway. I mean, my oldest son is only 11, so I mean, at least not till he's like 20.
Good. I'm glad I have some time then.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I wouldn't start worrying about it for a little while anyway.
Getting ready to be thrown off the, thrown into the pits of the Death Star.
Yeah, just watch who you shoot with Sith lightning, and you'll be all right. No, we got a lot to talk about tonight. It's election day. It is election day today. Nationwide.
This is election day part 2 for the XCast too.
It is. Yes, it is.
Last year was much more eventful, but
yeah,
we still have the campaign signs sitting in here, though.
Yeah, we do. We do. I mean, at this point, there's no Congress up this time. It's kind of the one of
next
the
year. Next year is going to be the bigger.
Right. I mean, there's some gubernatorial races here in Michigan, where Adam and I are at. Detroit's got a mayoral race going, a big one. Adam and I don't live in Detroit proper, though. It affects us big time who wins, because we're right outside the city. We're in the outskirts of Detroit, but we don't actually live in Detroit proper, so we don't even get to vote for it. We just
what's your opinion on that? Do you think that suburbanites should be able to vote in the Detroit mayor race?
No, I don't. It would be a very different story if they could. I always thought it'd be kind of cool if. I remember saying this years ago. I don't really think that this should happen, and I know it never will, but I always thought it'd be kind of cool if you lived in the surrounding areas of Detroit, if you got to vote, but if you lived in Detroit proper, your vote counted for 3.
That wouldn't.
Wouldn't that actually be kind of cool? For the bigger cities,
Sure.
If you live in some of these outskirts of Detroit, and I'm sure that could be true for Chicago or New York City,
yeah, absolutely,
or other things like that. I always thought that'd be kind of cool if you live in the city, your vote counts for 3. You live out of the city, you still get to vote.
It's the race this year for Detroit mayor is pretty unique, considering Detroit is. They've had their first mayor since the bankruptcy, since the state took the city over, and it's funny right now because people are one of the candidates is trying to take, people for a bunch of idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Loving, aka, Coleman Young Jr., who was Coleman Young's illegitimate son, who's barely ever met his dad.
Right. Coleman Young denied that this man was his son.
Changed his name just so he can try to get, the low-hanging fruit.
Right.
It's and this guy, what is he? A state
senator.
State senator, yeah.
Who has basically done nothing as state senator except run for mayor of Detroit.
Yeah, he has no experience whatsoever. But as we've seen before, quite recently, experience in big time positions doesn't mean a whole lot anymore, apparently. So,
so true. And for other people listening, I know we do have a lot of viewers, listeners in the Detroit area, but we have a lot of listeners nationwide, worldwide too, and we appreciate you. But yeah, it is kind of a weird one here in Detroit. We have, for many years, was it 16 years or 20 years? I don't know. But, people have heard of the big riots in Detroit in 1968. And after those, we elected our very first black mayor.
Coleman Young.
Of Detroit. It was Coleman A. Young. And he was mayor of Detroit for many, many years. He's a very divisive figure. People loved him or hated him, basically. I mean, a lot of people loved him. A lot of people hated him. Growing up as a kid, in and around Detroit, this was like a big, every argument in my family, there's constant arguments in my family about Coleman Young.
Ultimately, he helped ruin Detroit. That's what happened. You can't have the city and you can't have the suburbs at odds with each other. Right. It doesn't work like that, and that's one of the big underlying reasons why Detroit had such a huge downfall is because Coleman Young helped create a very, very
it's a toxic environment.
Line.
Yeah, very. It's basically the Detroit had a different kind of nasty reputation decades prior, but the nasty reputation that people kind of know of Detroit around the world, and that is a worldwide thing. Detroit. A lot of you have seen 8 Mile.
Yeah.
This started under the Coleman Young era. And keep in mind that, if you've listened to our show before, you know that Adam and I are not two people that agree politically on many things.
No.
But we are very much in agreement that Coleman Young was a terrible, I think he was a terrible mayor and a terrible person.
You know what, too?
The FBI investigations against him, some of which were actually for murder, by the way. Some of the investigations around him were very terrible, and he was a very strange, very divisive figure. But some people loved him, and some people still love him. You
know why I think people loved him. I think a lot of people liked him just because he was the first black mayor of Detroit.
Could be, yeah.
And I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's the reason why people like Obama." Look, you can't compare Obama to Coleman Young.
Coleman Young was a very goofy figure too.
He
was crazy.
Well, the thing about Coleman Young too is with Coleman Young, it wasn't about party, really. Yeah, he started as a Democrat, and people say he kind of went to the right, later on, but the guy was completely nuts. It was never. I don't think it was ever about politics. In every sense of the term, Coleman Young was a municipal dictator. That's what he was. He was a municipal dictator.
Corrupt.
He was extremely corrupt. We had, even when we had Kwame. Kwame, I don't think, quite held the light to, the amount of corruptness that.
Yeah, we have a former mayor of Detroit, and Kwame Kilpatrick, that's sitting in jail right now.
Yeah, he is sitting in jail, but I'm not even sure if Kwame Kilpatrick was as corrupt as Coleman Young.
I don't think he was.
Kwame Kilpatrick was pretty fucking corrupt.
Yeah.
Obviously, because he's sitting in jail because of it. But but Coleman Young was out for himself. That's all he cared about, and he used the race card to help achieve his goals.
You can actually, as corrupt as Kwame Kilpatrick was, and he was very corrupt, you can actually point to things right now in the city of Detroit that are very good that happened under Kwame's administration. So some good things actually happened to Detroit while Kwame Kilpatrick was mayor, and you can assign some credit to him. And it is very weird. Coleman Young was an extremely crazy kind of figure, and I don't even mean crazy necessarily in a bad way. I do kind of think it was in a bad way, but he's actually, like, you made a, kind of comparing him to Obama. The president...
I said you can't compare him to Obama.
I know, but the president that, to me, he's most comparable to is Donald Trump, because he said the most outrageous things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he went on television from the mayor's convention in Hawaii, and the only quote he sent back to the people was "Aloha, motherfuckers." This is the mayor of Detroit,
mayor of a major U.S. city. Yep.
I mean, he's one of his famous quotes is, people know that 8 Mile, because maybe you've seen the Eminem movie, 8 Mile divides Wayne County and Oakland County. Wayne County is what Detroit is in. They also call 8 Mile baseline road, because it is always one side of 8 miles, one city in the other. So that's when Detroit stops. I mean, Coleman Young, one of his famous quotes was, "Those people north of 8 Mile can kiss my ass." And so he didn't hide the fact that he wanted to tell the suburbs to go to hell.
Yeah.
He wanted, but he was the first black mayor. That was a big deal. And actually, right now, we have Mike Duggan, his current mayor, and he is the first white mayor since Coleman Young.
Yep. After that, we had Dennis Archer, who I thought was
I love Dennis Archer.
I thought was a phenomenal mayor.
And Dennis Archer, actually, a much more, I mean, that I am a libertarian guy, that I definitely lean right before I lean left in a lot of ways, and especially in your eyes, Adam. Dennis Archer was a very liberal guy.
Yeah.
But I loved him. I mean, he was a great mayor. He was a great person.
He's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
After all those years of Coleman Young. Then, it was Kwame after Dennis Archer.
And then
Kenneth
Dave
Cockrell.
Bing.
No, it's Kenneth Cockrell.
Yes.
And then, who served as an intern. But, then it was Dave Bing. And then city took over, or the state took over. And then, we have Mike Duggan now, who I think is doing a very good job, bringing the city back from what it was.
It sounds like it, and I mean, and politically, Mike Duggan is not a guy I line up with at all. But no, he seems to be doing a good job, and he's probably going to win today.
Yeah.
But as Adam pointed out, it is strange because the guy he's running against is Coleman Young's illegitimate son, who Coleman Young denied was his son until DNA evidence came out when, this guy was, in his 30s, I believe.
And that's all that Joel Loving has to run off of.
Right.
I mean, that's it. I mean, he's not running on anything that is substantial, it seems like. He's simply running on his father, who he barely ever met, coattails, and trying to get the vote that way.
Right. And like Adam said, this man was born Joel Loving, and he legally changed his name to Coleman A. Young Jr. to attempt to gain this name recognition. It's kind of funny. I mean, Detroit's a weird place, and you can't make that crap up. I mean, it's goofy. It's really goofy.
Yeah,
and that debate, I'm sure most people in Detroit didn't even see the debate. People worldwide and nationwide certainly didn't see our mayoral debate, but it was hilarious. I mean, Coleman Young basically just said that Mike Duggan was a criminal, that he was a terrible person, and he accused him of everything. I mean, he actually said in the debate, like, "Oh, I don't know, Mike Duggan might get arrested after we leave here tonight." Like, based on what? Based on nothing whatsoever. But, I mean, and we don't want to try to bog everybody down with, a Detroit election, but it is kind of weird, when you live in the outskirts of a big city, and a lot of people do. When you live in the outskirts of a big city, that city affects you a lot.
Absolutely.
And here, and I know this is true in a lot of other big cities too, but here in Detroit, a ton of people from the suburbs work in Detroit. And when you work in Detroit, you pay Detroit taxes. Detroit actually has city income taxes as well. So those people are getting taxed by Detroit, but they don't get to vote.
Yep.
Taxation without representation. Somebody fought a war over that one.
There definitely was a war over something like that.
But
a very important war too.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and then today, we got there's the Virginia
Virginia, New Jersey. I don't know if there's any
gubernatorial elections.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any other governor races, but
most of the governor races are on the even year schedule, like the like the presidential and the congressional races. But there are some, and Virginia's one. It looks like Democrats are going to take both of them.
Yeah, that's what's been projected already. You have the Democrats taken, and let me go ahead and bring up his name here. But yeah, you have the Democrat taken in the race in New Jersey, and you have Democrat taking the race in Virginia. And I will have the names here shortly. I should have had this up already, so I apologize. But anyways,
Ed Gillespie was the Republican running in Virginia. He, that was going to be a close race. It looks like he's going to lose.
Yep. And, he's losing to Northam, which he already did. I mean, it's already been projected. Race is over. 53.3% for Northam, 45.5% for Gillespie, and then New Jersey you had what's his name? Phil Murphy.
Yes.
Yep, Phil Murphy beating Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno or something like that.
That is not a surprise at all. New Jersey is a very Democratic state, and they just got off a Republican governor in Chris Christie.
An incredibly unpopular Republican governor.
Right. I mean, he was popular at one point.
He was popular at one point. I mean, people think that Donald Trump's, popularity is low, which it is. Chris Christie was at 15%,
right,
as far as popularity goes in the state of New Jersey.
I mean, it doesn't in New Jersey. It's going to be a rarity that you have a Republican governor anyway, and at this point, I mean, there was never. You're not going to have two Republican governors in a row. That's for sure.
No, and before we went on tonight, Josh, I know that we were kind of discussing this, that we're gonna have Democrats take both of these races, and I think both of us actually agreed that it wasn't too surprising given the state that New Jersey was in, with coming off of Chris Christie, just how incredibly unpopular he was. I mean, he got into a fight with a voter today on TV, and it was great. I mean.
I loathe that man.
You know what?
I really do. I loathe that
Chris
guy.
Christie though is good television.
Oh yeah,
he is good television unless you are a resident of the great state of New Jersey, and you have to deal with him on a daily basis.
Right.
Much like Donald Trump is great television. Until you have to deal with him as an American citizen, and unfortunately, he does hold the most powerful office in the world. So people around the world have to deal with him, as well. But as far as Virginia goes, kind of the same thing, though, Josh. Donald Trump didn't carry Virginia in the presidential election, so I don't think it's incredibly surprising that you have a Democrat winning that governor's race this time around. And you know what? Donald Trump, again, not a popular president. He did endorse Gillespie, which I don't think is going to help a lot of people going forward, especially a state like Virginia that was already, that already didn't go towards Donald Trump in the presidential race last year.
Right. No, it's for sure. We don't do this that often, Adam, but we go back and talk about last week's show. But we had a really fun show last week.
Yeah, it's excellent.
I don't know if people caught it or not. I'm hoping they did. If not, you can always go back to theempiremedia.com. Check out episode number 62.
62?
But we did a little ghost hunting.
It was fun.
Last week. We went to some of the haunted, eerie, creepy places here around the Detroit area and checked some stuff out.
Already mapping out next year.
Yep, we are. And we had Sean with us from, good old General Veers from the Majors Live, who was a big help, huge help.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done it without him. So we had a lot of fun. It was cool. Got a lot of really good feedback, too, from that show. A lot of really good feedback. People were really enjoying it. And, we had some cool little live streams and aired, live on, we did it. We had the live stream going on Devil's Night here, which is a big deal here in the Detroit area. and we
didn't see any fires though.
no fires.
No fires.
But and then it, was played on our normal time on Halloween. So hopefully you guys caught it. But ghosts. Now we've discussed. You believe in ghosts?
I do.
I do as well. I have a lot of different weird theories about ghosts, but I had kind of a weird little story to tell, if you don't mind.
No.
And I have not even told Adam about this at all, so this is just as much a surprise to Adam as it is to everybody else. Now, I don't normally get too personal on the show. I've mentioned my kids, but I don't go... I don't talk about it a ton on the show, but this is more personal than I normally get.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest, I got 4 kids. My youngest is my son Grayson. He's 2 years old. He's going to be 3 next month.
Kids are creepy too.
Yeah, kids can be creepy. But me and my ex-wife, his mom, and some of my family have kind of come to the conclusion that he sees ghosts.
Oh God.
And I'm not
saying you're full of shit. I'm saying oh God because that's creepy as fuck.
No, okay. My son does not have any great grandfathers.
Mm-hmm.
He has 2 great grandmas still alive. But actually of my 4 kids, the first 3 my one my grandfather was alive still when the first 3 were born, but Grayson was the only one born after my grandfather died. My kid number 3 barely crossed over. He actually died a couple weeks after she was born. But my son keeps talking about his great grandpa. And we just thought that he was just saying the wrong thing,
Yeah.
For quite a while. He kept asking when we would go, I'd be going to my parents' house for, Sunday dinner or going out to eat with my parents or somewhere, and he would, he'd be asking who's going to be there, and he'd say his great grandpa going to be there. I'd be like, well, grandpa's going to be there. He's not your great grandpa. He was like, no, great grandpa. And we're like, I thought, well, is he calling Heather's, my ex-wife? Is he referring to that grandpa?
The thing is, he would have no reason to call anybody great grandpa.
No, because he's never had a great grandpa.
Yeah, he's not even aware of the term, the great grandpa.
No. And, my ex-wife, her her grandparents have been dead. Her grandfathers have been dead for many, many years. So he keeps kind of asking this, and I'm kind of like, well, do you mean mommy's dad? I said, no, not. I was like, no, not that grandpa. Great grandpa. So I'm like, okay, whatever. He's 2. He's saying the wrong thing. He's just going to say the wrong thing. But then, come Sunday, he starts continually talking about great grandpa. And he's just saying, great grandpa's driving me crazy. And he keeps saying, yeah, great grandpa, he keeps making me laugh and messing up my hair all the time. And we're like, wait, what? And so from there, he then continues to talk about great grandpa to my dad, to his regular grandpa, and again talking about he always messes up my hair, and then my ex-wife texts me today and says, Grayson keeps saying that great grandpa was at your house hanging out on the couch with him, and that he gave him a toy plane, and that it's his favorite toy. So he just is continually doing this, then kind of like piecing some other stuff together. And now I'm thinking back to a time a couple of weeks ago. Well, I guess it was more than a couple of weeks ago. Was my ex-wife and I split up, and she has since moved out of our home as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this was when she was still living in our old house, and I had moved out. And she called me late one night because she had said that she pulled up in the driveway and that Grayson saw a man in the window of the house. So I went over there to check it out to make sure that everything was clear because she was a little freaked out. And she's kind of coming to grips now that she thinks maybe Grayson is seeing people in strange places like this. Another time he saw somebody outside the window. She got kind of freaked out, but no one was ever there. That was when I was still, when we were still together. So, in other words, I really do think that my kid is seeing ghosts.
Is that kind of cool, though?
It is cool. I think it's awesome.
Maybe not so much that he sees ghosts. I mean, that's kind of freaky, but that, that maybe, he's,
well, and
mingling around with his great grandpa.
What is strange about this too is that my niece, a few years ago, before Grayson was born, but after my grandfather had died, was on this kick where she kept saying that she saw her great grandpa. Same thing, kind of same idea, and she was, 5-6 years old or something, at the time, not a toddler. But to the point where my sister actually called my dad the one day and said, "Dad, did you stop by Ella's school today and say hi?" My dad was like, No, I wasn't even in the area. She's like, "Oh, well, she keeps saying that Grandpa, stopped by and visited her at school today." And then Ella's in the background saying, that's my niece, saying, No, not Grandpa. Great Grandpa, the one with the cigar. My grandfather always had a cigar in his mouth. It's like, Great Grandpa, the one with the cigar. And, this is after he's dead. And so there's like this link. So I don't know, maybe my grandpa just wants to stick around or something. I don't know.
It's a cool.
Yeah,
in a way, you hope that that's definitely the case, and in a way, when you think about it too, if there are ghosts, which I believe there are, manifesting themselves to kids would be a lot easier than manifesting themselves to adults.
Right.
Because adults will probably freak out.
Right.
Whereas kids, they don't know what the hell they're looking at.
Right.
You're my great grandpa? That's cool.
Yeah.
Because if I actually saw a ghost sitting in,
even if it was a loved one, I
would be shitting my pants.
Right.
There wouldn't be. Yeah, there wouldn't be any love to begin with there. I'd be running away screaming like a little girl.
Well, and something that I kind of have noticed is that I find, Grayson, my son, seems to be seeing him a lot at my place. And I have a ton of my grandfather's old memorabilia. I have it pinned to the walls. No pictures of him, actually. But I have a lot of his memorabilia. He was a Marine in World War II, so I have a lot of his old, medals and certificates and stuff like that. My grandpa saved a lot of that stuff, and when he died, we took it, and recently I moved my grandma, and we found a bunch of stuff, and she gave it to me, and I just have it pinned up on my wall, a lot of this stuff. So I feel like if there's a place where he was going to manifest, it might be my place, because a lot of his old junk's there. He loved all his old junk. So, I don't know. I find it very weird. I know some people are probably listening thinking, oh, you're full of crap. But, I don't know. This is, Grayson seems to really, definitely, absolutely believe that he's seeing his his great-grandpa around quite a bit. Messing up his hair, playing with him, giving him toys. And he doesn't seem to think it's weird to ask, is great grandpa going to be there when we're going to a family function? A person he's never met. And again, he's never had a great grandfather, so the term great grandpa wouldn't really even be a thing. He does have a great grandma, so there is that. But
have you guys told her this?
I have not yet. No.
Are you going to?
I will. Yeah. Yeah, I will next time I see my grandma. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think she'll take that?
I think she'll think it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, she's I mean, she's 90, but she's still very bright, very with it, and she'll probably think it's pretty cool. She might think, why isn't he? Yeah. Why isn't he bugging me instead?
Well, that's what I was gonna say is, you know, why don't they? And again,
yeah, I don't really know how it works.
I think it goes back maybe perhaps to, you know, ghosts showing themselves, especially loved ones showing themselves to, you know, their adult children or something like that, than, you know, having them freak out more so than a little kid.
Well, and I do, you know, my grandparents lived a few hours away, while their great grandkids were little, and some of the great grandkids he didn't get to meet. And I do almost wonder, like, is there something left over, like he feels like he didn't get to know his great grandchildren well enough, and that's why he's jumping back in to this, you know, is kind of what I'm feeling, you know, or what I'm theorizing, if you will. But I don't know. I think it's very cool.
I think it is too.
A little creepy, weird, but also cool.
It's cool. It's, yeah, I mean, you know, reassuring, I guess, in some ways too, that, you know, your great grandpa is, you know, contacting your kid, and
right.
Yeah, I think that's very, very, very cool. Not that creepy. It's creepy if he's seeing other ghosts, but
right. Yeah, I mean, and you know, some of the things about him seeing guys in the window, I don't know. Maybe that was my grandpa too. I have no idea. You know, who he was seeing those.
What was that book you're reading with the priest in the window?
Oh, jeez, The Sentinel.
The Sentinel, yeah.
Yeah, classic old horror.
Maybe that's what he's saying.
Oh God, I hope not. Yeah, that was a really cool old book. Definitely people should.
Oh, New York City mayor is going tonight. Nope, De Blasio is going to win.
Yeah, it's too bad. Can't stand that guy, De Blasio. Ugh. Status pig. No, but hey, but you know that is that. 5th of November was Sunday, man. Remember the 5th of November.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 5th of November, we got to wake up and realize that the NASA blackout that people were theorizing was going to happen on November 4th.
I didn't hear about that. What was that all about?
There were some people saying that NASA was shifting something and that it was going to be a huge blackout, that it was going to actually almost be like an EMP. It was going to hit like major parts of the country, and
really?
And it didn't happen. Obviously, it's like a little mini Y2K. Didn't happen. The Antifa Civil War, that didn't happen either. A few little protests.
That was all bullshit.
Yeah.
It wasn't. No, that was started by somebody on the far right.
Probably.
That rumor. It was, and in fact, I've got the guy who was started from right here. His name was, where is it? I have his last name. I want to get his first name too. Jordan Peltz. That's what it was from. Rumors originate from a video originally published on the 30th of August by an individual named Jordan Peltz.
Well, but there were some Antifa members who had claimed that they were gonna kill gun owners. There was some Antifa members that claimed they were going to riot.
Were those actually Antifa members, or were they opposition trolls?
I don't know.
I mean,
you can't know that.
No,
you know, you can't know that. But either way, the protests they did have planned did not have a ton of people. It's kind of a nothing event. I don't know if all the Antifa people, if their moms didn't wake them up on time.
Well, it wasn't that. I mean, you know, there's plenty of Antifa groups out there saying that they weren't the ones organizing the process. What they were saying is these refuse racism groups were. It wasn't them, even though, Alex Jones and InfoWars and, a lot of, the Breitbarts of the world wanted to make it seem like that. And that's the thing with this is you have people, you have a lot of these, these, whatever it is you want to call them, these alt-righters or these far-right people who are sitting there saying, oh yeah, there's a Antifa's, they're going to be doing this civil war and, we got to be prepared. And then when it doesn't happen because it was never planned like that to begin with, oh yeah, well, they didn't have it because we scared them off. No, that wasn't the case. It didn't happen because
it wasn't going to happen.
Because it wasn't going to happen in the first place.
I don't think it's only that. I do think there were some people that were trying something. I don't think it was only alt-right people claiming this. But, or far right might be a better, use than all right for this particular thing. But I don't think it was all that. But
sorry, real quick.
What's up?
Detroit mayor is in. Looks like. Yeah, Mike Duggan ran away with it.
Yeah.
You're looking at 70-29. Okay. That was the split.
Well, and
with 83% of the precincts reported.
That is. Believe it or not, I actually predicted it to be 70-30, a couple of days ago when I was talking with some people. But that's a killing. That's a landslide. But if you don't live in the Detroit area and you aren't familiar with this, the fact that fake Coleman Young got 29% of the vote is scary and laughable. Really, that 30% of that nearly 30% of a city would vote for this guy just because he changed his name to Coleman Young is really strange. It really is strange. I don't know why that is. All the people I know who live in Detroit, I don't know one person who was voting for Coleman Young.
Yeah.
I really don't. The people I know, and most of them are black, who were, going to be voting. We're voting for Duggan, so I really don't think this is...
No, but good for the people of Detroit. Good for the citizens of Detroit to, make the right choice with this one and not fall for, some political gimmick that Joel Loving was trying to push on them.
Right.
So,
and he is still, I guess, a sitting state senator. Let's hope that the political career of Joel Loving, aka fake Coleman Young, is pretty much over now. Let's just hope that, because this guy's he actually, in the debate, I was telling people the day after the debate. Did you catch the debate?
I caught parts of it. I didn't. Okay. I didn't get a chance to see all of it.
He actually acts like a mix of Coleman Young and Donald Trump. that to me is who Coleman Young Jr. acts like.
Perfect. Two politicians you want to mix together too.
I mean, just that in your face, obnoxious kind of just say anything idea. But and his ideas were pretty
batshit crazy.
Yeah, they were nuts. The stuff he was supposedly going to do was nuts. But hey, it looks like we're gonna luckily not have to deal with him at an official level anyway. Maybe he'll still be around complaining or whatever. But who knows? He is not that old of a man. He could easily run again. So, well, we shall see. We shall see. Corey Feldman, man. We talked about him.
We did.
A few weeks ago. We kind of brought some of this to light when the, the pedophile or, rape, the sexual harassment things about Harvey Weinstein and all this stuff started coming out. We played the Corey Feldman clip from The View.
I think it was The View, yep.
Yeah. And That was
You get Barbara
2 weeks
Walters
ago?
trying to shut him down.
Yeah, was that 2 weeks ago?
Mhm.
And now Corey Feldman has obviously had the same thought that we had and that a lot of other people had. That, that we got to start paying attention to what I've been trying to say forever. And he is now saying that he is going to kind of go on a mission here to expose pedophilia in the in the world of entertainment. He's kind of making this his thing. I mean, do you think this is legit? Is this Corey Feldman just trying to make himself relevant again? Or I mean, I tend to believe him.
Corey Feldman seems like a guy with, he doesn't have anything to lose with any of this. I mean, I never like to equate somebody who is trying to out pedophiles as somebody trying to, just get famous.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, he's if that's what he's doing, I think he's undertaking a very important cause.
Right.
Especially, given everything that is coming out.
And this isn't new for him. He has been trying to expose it for a while, but I think he's finally now saying, "Hey, maybe somebody's actually listening."
Well, this is, it's very similar to, to women in a sense who all of a sudden feel empowered enough to finally come out and expose their whoever it is that raped them or, sexual assaulted them or anything like that, because now they have, it's not just their voice against a powerful opposition voice.
Sure.
It's many voices against that one.
And sometimes you have to wait for that time when somebody's actually listening.
And it's unfortunate that, and yes, that's very much the case, Josh. And it's unfortunate in a way that it has to come to that, or people have to wait for that. But, and it wasn't just this. I mean, obviously we saw that with Donald Trump's accusers who were coming out and everything like that. But, what can you really say about this? I really don't think it's fair for somebody to come out and say that, that these people are lying. I mean, I think they're making claims, and you have to hear them out. You have to, because I don't think is it any secret now that Harvey Weinstein is a total dirtbag?
Right. Yeah. No, it is not.
And is it totally inconceivable that there could be more Harvey Weinsteins in Hollywood that have done the exact same thing? I mean,
or worse.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey deny it. Came out, and now he lost his job basically on House of Cards. Netflix dropped him, and what else is going to come out now?
Sure. No, it's strange stuff. And for me, I mean, we've talked a lot about conspiracies and stuff on this show, and there is a kind of a big backdrop to this. This is something that people have been saying. This is kind of like Illuminati stuff here to some degree. This, this secret ring of stuff. This is, and I'm not trying to throw in Hillary Clinton here. I'm not trying to open that up right now, but this is kind of like the Pizzagate.
Oh, jeez.
Well, hey, it's linked to that, Adam. It is. This is what that was about. This idea that there are big time pedophiles in the entertainment world that are doing this. I'm not trying to link the Clinton thing. I'm not accusing that or saying that right now. That's something different. But there's this has been this thing that has been talked about amongst conspiracy theorists. And could this come out as another one of those things that, oops, that crazy conspiracy theory was true? Because there's a lot of those out there. There are a lot of those. There have been conspiracy theories that have been, become very much true.
No, the Pizzagate thing was nonsense. This is something that has been. It's different. It's not this. This isn't politically motivated or anything like that. I think
I wasn't trying to get the politics into it.
I think what you have here is something that you could have across many different forefronts, and that's people in power using their power against individuals who are who are seeking something more of themselves. And it's again, you see it all the time. You see it you see it in politics, you see it in you see it in the entertainment industry. You see it with everyday white collar and blue collar workers. And it's everywhere.
But to me the real, of course, the a lot like the Penn State thing. There's not even an ounce of me that is trying to downplay the terror of a pedophile or a child molester. Worst people on planet Earth. But the thing that is the crime here is the conspiracy, the cover-up. That was the crime with Joe Paterno in Penn State. Joe Paterno didn't molest any kids, kind of like Stupid Logic Kid used to say on the old Majors Live show. But the idea here is the cover-up, that people know about this, that it's being, not only is it being covered up, but it's actually being progressed. It's being fed into. On the other hand, though, I do think this is worth pointing out that, did you hear Alyssa Milano, what she's come out and said?
What did she say?
Okay, now Alyssa Milano is now coming out and saying, listen,
Salmon, who's the boss?
Yes, one of the hottest women in human history. But she is saying that she dated both Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. She dated both of them back in the day. And she said that she has never heard of this. She said, I'm not calling him a liar, but I dated both of them, and neither of them ever mentioned a word about this. They never showed any signs. And so she's kind of basically saying, like, I've been in Hollywood my whole life. I dated both these guys that supposedly had all this stuff happen to them now, and I never saw or heard of it. So I thought that was kind of, like, oh, geez. I don't think, I tend to believe Corey Feldman. I do. I really do. But, and I do think that there is something very deep-rooted in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, and amongst rich, powerful people, that this is something that goes on.
Yeah, I really don't know what to make of Alyssa Milano's comments. Maybe Corey Feldman's full of shit. But maybe he also was embarrassed to mention
didn't want
something.
to talk about it.
Yeah, didn't want to talk about it to his girlfriend. Who knows? I think that the only thing that people can really do in this sense right now, the best thing that people can do right now is listen.
Yeah.
Listen to what these people have to say, because when you don't listen, the stuff is guaranteed to continue if it is in fact true. So, and nobody's convicting anybody. Nobody's saying anybody's guilty of something from listening, but you have to listen in order to come to any type of resolution, any type of to get people help, or get people justice, so on and so forth.
No, you're very much right. And I don't know how much, probably not a ton, but speaking of conspiracies and the rich and the powerful and the secretive, I don't know if we'll tie into this at all next week at all, but on Deep Issues next week, we are doing the Deep State.
One thing I'm trying to find here is actresses who are defending Harvey Weinstein, or actors and actresses trying to defend him. I'm going to this toofab.com website, and it says all the Hollywood stars defending Harvey Weinstein against sexual misconduct allegations, and they have updating. This came from originally was on October 12th. Lindsay Lohan. That's it. And then after that, they have 2 more to come? Question mark. Bueller.
So Lindsay Lohan is still a Harvey Weinstein fan.
Lindsay Lohan and that's it.
That's it. Just Lohan. Just Lohan. Maybe she was just doing so many drugs back then that she doesn't remember.
Or she really wants a job or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if Harvey Weinstein at this point can get her a job. It sounds like he's going to get thrown in jail in New York. Word is that the district attorney in Manhattan is going to go after him for sexual assault
or some sort of sexual misconduct.
Yeah,
anyway.
because the statute of limitations hasn't run out on those accusations against him there. So yeah, it sounds like he's gonna, they're gonna go after him. And in fact, the DA in Manhattan says that he's gonna be presenting evidence to a grand jury next week. So,
well, and Harvey Weinstein claimed, he to pay credence to this idea of conspiracy and cover up and secrets and lies behind all this. Harvey Weinstein claimed that he said, if I'm going down for this, I'm gonna bring a whole lot of other people down with me. Mm-hmm. He claimed that he was going to expose a lot more. He said pedophiles. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where that started being kicked around, pedophiles and, people like, other assaulters, if that is the correct terminology. Now, Harvey Weinstein, like you said, Adam, is a total dirtbag, but if I hope he does. If there's more out there, and he has, I hope he does.
Yeah, I know.
Nail these guys.
Yeah, I know, and I know what you're saying too. It sucks, kind of. I don't want to say give him credit for that, but yeah, you're an asshole. But yeah, if you can bring more people down with you,
I hope he does. I just not for his sake, but
definitely not for his sake. For the sake of the people that could be being taken advantage of in that sense.
Well, and because and the idea being that he says, hey, I might have done some stuff that was bad, but there's people way worse than me out there, and I tend to believe him. Actually, I really do. I tend to believe Weinstein. I don't see why he would lie about it, but he said that. But I've yet to see the list of names, so I don't know. Maybe they got to him. Maybe they still have something over him.
Well, when we were talking about this too a couple of weeks ago, one of my biggest problems too with all of this is the way that and I kind of equated this to the Ray Rice incident.
Right?
With,
yeah, you did. I thought it was a great comparison.
Just because you get Harvey Weinstein just because there's kind of, I don't want to say a smoking gun, but you have this this outpouring of allegations against him by obviously multiple people, multiple actresses. Yet you have the academies and they're throwing them out, but you have Roman Polanski and Bill Cosby,
right?
Still very much present within that circle. And to me, it's what do you need? What do you need in order to to prove that these guys are just as bad as Harvey Weinstein? And in a way too, that kind of shows me somewhat that Hollywood still isn't taking this seriously.
No, they're not.
If you're going to, if you're just going to throw out the flavor of the month in a sense, yet keep Bill Cosby and Roman Polanski just because Roman Polanski, happens to make some good movies sometimes, and Bill Cosby is
not even movies that people like, just movies that people in the Academy think are profound.
Yeah, and that's something I never understood. I always hate the movies that the Academy always seems to like. I mean, they're boring as fuck, and they're not good. And
Me Too Best Picture last year should have went to Rogue One. That movie ruled. That movie was awesome, but they don't actually give it to the best movie.
No, they give it. They give it to the. Yeah, I know what you're saying. And then, you know what? They can't throw out America's dad.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you, though. All those things kind of drive me crazy. Just this idea that, like, you know, best picture was, and then they, you know, and what won best picture over the last few years?
I couldn't.
What the Birdman thing that won the 1 year? Of
Yeah.
course, that was going to win because that was the most self-serving thing they could ever give it to. It was about an actor, so why can't? Of course, it's like, oh, the Birdman, best picture. It's like, oh, really? That was best picture. Did you see the Avengers? Like, did you see the Avengers? Like, okay, yeah, you tell me that you enjoyed watching Birdman Chronicles, or whatever the shit that movie was called, as much as you watched, you know, Captain America barking out orders to the Hulk. You know, I mean, come on, give me a break. Give me a break. These movies are they're whatever, silly. So, you know, and Adam, I think you nailed it too. You know, if there's dozens of pedophiles and rapists and people just guilty of sexual harassment or sexual misconduct all throughout Hollywood, and every once in a while they throw one out who fell out of favor with them for other reasons. Every once in a while they throw us a Harvey Weinstein. Who cares? I said before, to me, people in Hollywood, they're all a bunch of mini Joe Paternos. They know about this, they're covering it up, they don't care. Because they know they got to get a good thing going, and they don't want to ruin it. They don't want to ruin it. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to shake it up. So, I get sick of all of it. And hey, I don't know if we'll talk about that maybe next week. A little bit. It could tie in a little bit to Deep State. I don't know how much. But that I think that's gonna be an interesting one. I don't know that much about it yet. This isn't one that I'm, you know, feel like I'm, you know, really an expert at yet. So
Is Ed gonna be here next week?
I hope so. I hope Ed can be here next week. And we should say this now, you can still tune in at the regular time on Tuesday if you'd like, but just as one time only, we're actually gonna stream that show live on Monday. So for those of you who always watch live, you still got your choice. You want to, you know, listen on Tuesday, we'll be there still, but we actually are streaming that one live on Monday. I gotta go out of town. I gotta run up and kill Bambi because hunting season in Michigan starts on November 15th. So
you gotta go be a murderer.
Yep. Cows don't cry when people die.
I saw something really interesting. I don't know if we should talk about it. Well, I don't know if we can fit it in next week. Probably can, but I think we should probably discuss it at some point. Because as we know, the Kennedy papers came out.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, and you know what? I was excited about it at first, but nothing really came out. It seemed really substantial. That was like, wow. You know what? No, nothing ever will. Because if there was ever anything ever substantial, it'll never come out.
No.
But there was a.
And at this point, no one will believe anything anyway.
But here's 8 top secret government documents that are way more interesting than JFK files. This comes via E-Bombs World. The Penkovsky papers. You ever hear of that?
No.
Let's see here. The spy who saved the world and then tried to destroy it. On October 17th, 1961, the telephone in a room on the 5th floor of the Kostovsky prospect rang twice and then stopped. Along with CIA and MI6 was mounting one of the most successful secret operations ever. A man by the name of Oleg Penkovsky was working with both of them as an agent. The legend of Oleg is well known in spy circles all over the world, for he was a KGB colonel who worked in tandem with CIA and MI6. He is referred by many as the spy who saved the world due to the amount of information he gave both the American and British intelligence agencies. Unfortunately, he was later captured by the KGB. During that time, he was supposed to give 3 telephone rings if the Soviet Union was preparing to launch missiles on the U.S. during the Cuban crisis. Oleg, knowing his days were numbered, wished to take down the Soviet Union with him, and didn't reveal the true nature of his signal to his captors. The phone only rang twice, and luckily both MI6 and CIA didn't believe the signal to be real. They later found out about Oleg's capture, and so the world was saved from World War III. The Penkovsky papers contain detailed information about Oleg and his deeds. That's one. Operation Northwoods, which was the government planned false flags against, the United States to try to, drum up support for a war against Cuba. Luckily, the Kennedy administration decided to go against that. The H.R. Haldeman notes, and this was about Nixon sabotaging the Vietnamese peace talks because he figured that if there was a Vietnam War going on, it would help his cause to get reelected. The Martin Luther King tapes, which is something that kind of came out too with this one about J. Edgar Hoover, monitoring, trying to pin him down as a basically it seemed like a double agent for the Soviet Union, but what they ended up finding out is that he was a huge sex addict, slept with many women. Which again, I mean, is anybody really surprised over something like that? I don't think it minimizes his cause for equal rights. It just he's not a very good husband,
right? Yeah, no. I mean, these people who we often, Martin Luther King, great man, of course. But
great man, shitty husband.
Yeah, wasn't. People are not perfect.
Yeah,
but no, that's and I mean, can you question somebody's character who cheats on their wife all the time? Yeah,
you can.
You can, actually. I remember years ago, Ross Perot, while he was running for president, got some grief because, and I actually didn't think this was bad, but he said that he would fire people when he found out that they cheated on their wives, and that he wouldn't have people in his administration who committed adultery. And they say, "Oh, what does that have to do with politics?" And he just very simply used to say, "If their wife can't trust him, neither can I." And it's, there's something to that. I don't think that's necessarily a terrible model for business or politics to say, listen, I mean, if your wife can't trust you, why should I trust you?
Yeah. There's a few more here, Josh.
Sure.
I'll get to them really quick. Operation Paperclip. How Nazi scientists were hired by the U.S. After World War II, both American and British agencies started working together to salvage military, scientific, and technological researches done by Germany. During one such raid, the Allies uncovered a list showcasing all the scientists and researchers who had worked under the Third Reich. Operation Overcast or Paperclip was given to the mission for bringing the people in that list over to the United States to help the country in expanding their research in various fields of science and technology for civilian and military use. Though Truman forbade the hiring of Nazi members or supporters, several officers within JOA and the OSS ignored the president's order and edited documents to remove any war crimes found. So it sounds like they had Nazis working within the CIA, within NASA, and within NASA as well. So
Hail Hydra.
Let's see, here's Werner von Braun.
Actually, Adam, that Operation the Paperclip, this is, kind of something I touched on earlier. That is one of these, when you see this on lists a lot of conspiracies that turned out to be true, and that is one of them. This was once a conspiracy, along with MK Ultra, that people said, that's, or the CIA selling drugs, things like that. These are things that were once conspiracies that then they find out, like, oh no, that one was true. All those people we were calling crazy, all the tinfoil hats, no, they were right about that one. And there is a long list of conspiracies that turned out to be true. And that is one that you see a lot, is the Paperclip, the Operation Paperclip or Project Paperclip.
One on here, too, that people might be very familiar with is the Iraq Weapons of Mass Destruction report, which turned out to be largely false. That is on here. And then there's two more. The Watergate scandal and the Nixon grand jury records, obviously. A lot of people know about that. And this one's interesting. Project Stargate. This is the last one. The program that tried to create psychic human beings Project Stargate was perhaps either the most brilliant program ever created by an intelligence agency or the most ridiculous one. Uri Geller was famous for having the ability to bend spoons with his mind. The CIA was looking for new strategies to develop weaponry and combat techniques that would help in a war against the Soviet Union. Project Stargate was started to investigate the potential use of psychic powers in military and intelligent communities and agencies. A number of experiments were conducted on Uri Geller, and some of the results will shock people. A random word was selected from the dictionary and given to a scientist who had to draw the object on a piece of paper. Yuri, who was sitting in a different room, had to draw who he felt the scientist was drawing. He managed to get almost all of the drawings correct. Years later, Yuri came out in the open and revealed that he had worked for many years as a CIA and Mossad agent during the Cold War. You know what that kind of
for Mossad. Wow,
you know what that kind of reminds me of? Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Don't murder.
The electric shock on electric shock therapy.
Yeah. Sorry, this just isn't your day.
I don't know, a bunch of squiggly lines. No, oh god, great movie. No, it's interesting stuff, man. No, you're right. The JFK thing, what they're revealing is nothing. It's really it's nothing that we don't already know, honestly. And hey, but and I'm gonna work on potentially trying to get this woman on the show. I don't know if we'll be able to or not, but Zapruder's granddaughter has recently written a book and is kind of going on the tour. She's actually only a couple miles away from us right now in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and it's supposed to be pretty interesting. It's not so much about the Zapruder film; it's about her family and what kind of how this has dominated her family's legacy, basically, and kind of controlled the family basically in a lot of ways. Just because he happened to be the guy that grabbed a video camera while this was going on. And yeah, those Zapruder films. I doubt anything they released talked about the driver shooting them.
Oh yeah, William Greer.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I don't know. We've talked about this on our JFK special. I know people always think it's crazy when you say I think the driver shot him, but when you see that tape, you can't unsee it.
No, I showed people where I work, and they're like, "Wow."
Yeah, everyone I've shown that to has gone into it skeptical, and then afterwards said, "Wow, that's what happens."
You know the only thing that kind of makes me skeptical about that.
What's that?
Is you don't see any smoke coming from the gun. At least I didn't see any smoke coming from the gun.
Supposedly, it's a Bill Cooper he talks about that.
Does he?
Yeah, it's what type of gun it is. It's not a gunpowder weapon. It's a single shot. I'm not good with technical stuff like this, but Bill Cooper talks about that, and he actually shows the CIA developed weapon that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put it past the CIA to come up with something to.
It's supposed to be like a single shot projectile kind of explosive weapon that explodes on impact instead of exploding out of the gun barrel.
Yeah, because when you look at it too, I mean, given the size of that gun and the way that Kennedy's head exploded,
right?
When he was shot, it's maybe. But again, you look at that film, and it at least has to make you wonder. Right. Okay, what's going on with that?
And he is shot before that too, so yes, it does bring out the it also kind of helps eliminate this whole single shooter theory. Yeah,
and my base question:
Who knows? Maybe that other shot actually did come from Oswald's gun. It's possible.
I don't think you've ever denied. I've never denied that Oswald was involved in some way.
Yeah,
I don't think that should be any secret. I don't think anybody should discredit that.
I think Oswald was there to. I think he thought he was
going to kill
a lone gunman, and he was going to kill Kennedy. But I also believe he was a patsy,
Mm-hmm.
which is becoming this. It's reverting to where that's becoming. Everyone used to think that, and now it's reverting to where people think, "Oh no, that's crazy. Oswald was the lone gunman. He shot him," and I don't buy it. I didn't buy it then. I don't buy it now.
Yeah.
I actually kind of view it as a conspiracy within a conspiracy to re-conspiracize, if you will, the involvement of Oswald.
Yeah.
But interesting stuff, man. And I'll be looking at those Kennedy papers for sure, even though I doubt there's going to be anything super.
I haven't found anything that's really
yeah, worth looking at if you've already been paying attention to this for
it's just
your whole life with which a lot of us have been.
Yeah.
But hey, do you want to go around the empire with Adam Hernandez?
Sure.
I'd like to go around the empire with Adam Hernandez.
Yup. Let's see here. Starting off first, Dana Loesch. She's actually, NRA spokesperson, blah, 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 blah. She actually left the Blaze after 4 years.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Lash is how they pronounce it.
Lash, is that how you say it?
It's spelled Loesch, but yeah. Dana Lash is how. She's
kind of crazy, but anyways. She's
kind of hot, too, though.
Yeah, let's see.
I like her.
I'm
a fan of her, actually.
Yeah. She's, she left, and Tommy Lauren actually left as well earlier in the year. Actually, no, I think she was fired. She was fired by the network.
Was she? Yeah, she was fired.
Yeah, after she came out and said that she actually supported abortion.
Is Lori Dew still
Who?
with the Blaze? Lori Dew.
Lori Dew.
Yeah. She is so hot. She is. She used to be on Fox News years ago, and then she was working for the Blaze, but she is so gorgeous. That chick is just, oh my god.
Lori Dew.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you spell it.
Dhure, I believe.
I don't know. Let's see where she's at now.
Google image her, because she's so hot. Dana Lash is hot too.
I don't think she's working for anybody.
No.
Looks like she was sexually harassed at, Dew is one of the many women who have settled suits with Fox News and sexual harassment claims against longtime anchor Bill O'Reilly and former President Roger Ailes. So yeah, she was, looks like she was sexually assaulted by the contingent of shitty people at Fox News. But yeah, God, can you imagine? I can only imagine the Roger Ailes. Don't you get like a total Jabba the Hutt?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Carrie Fisher image.
Yes.
With that.
Yes. Yeah.
What was that thing that Jabba ate? Like those little frogs.
Oh yeah, the frogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you just picture like is Hannity like the Quackian monkey lizard next to him chuckling?
Yeah, that'd have to be Hannity, and I think O'Reilly would have to be the guy who meets Luke.
Bib Fortuna. Le Jabba no bother.
Yeah, that would have to be. Yeah, that would have to be.
Do you know the name of Jabba's Quackian monkey lizard?
No.
Oh, Salacious B. Crumb.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was he in Fantasy?
Probably.
I think he is.
Definitely.
I think he is. I think I have him on my team.
Really?
Radio for two.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be my gamer tag when I was playing online games back in the day.
Oh, really?
Way back in the day. So I was either Salacious B. Crumb or Carla from Cheers.
Carla from Cheers. Oh, man. But as we know, Donald Trump spoke tonight in front of was it the North Korean Parliament or something like that? And I don't know if it's Parliament in North Korea, but their contingent of government members in that country. Let's see here. I know he was. What did he say to them? I thought I had a quote here. Anyways, I don't have that quote. But I mean, what was it? He's basically telling North Korea, "Don't provoke us. Don't mess with us." Yada 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 yada. Which again, a lot of people were worried about Trump's rhetoric on this trip, considering where he was going. He's in Asia right now, and that any bombastic tone that he would take could increase tensions. I don't know if tonight's speech will in fact do that, because I do know North Korea was on edge, and the rest of that region was certainly on edge over these two leaders getting closer together in the globally here. But who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see. A lot of people were kind of anticipating that Kim Jong-un would have a missile test or a nuclear test or something while Trump was in the area. I don't think that it's taken place. It hasn't taken place, at least not yet. And North Korea hasn't launched a missile in quite some time now. I know it's been several weeks since they last conducted a missile test. So who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
I mean, and the thing is, this is another one of those things. I know I've talked about this in the past too. That I don't disagree with Donald Trump here. I actually don't think he's doing the wrong thing. It's just that you have this guy who, even when he's doing the right thing, you're just always scared that he's gonna say something dumb. I mean, I wish Trump I wish he carried himself differently, and I wish that he would stop tweeting. I really do. That is my biggest issue with Trump. I don't even have a terrible. I don't disagree with him on North Korea. Should be telling North Korea, hey, don't provoke us, all right? Let's. Are you suicidal? Don't do this. But that's just it's so strange how we have a president that just talks the way he talks. It's just different. It's so different. I know a lot of people love it, but I don't.
Well, Donald Trump's favorite social media platform is changing the way they go about things. Twitter is increasing their character count from 140 characters to 280.
Yay.
So they'll now have 280 characters to work with instead of the 140. This isn't changing for many of the Asian characters, whether you're Chinese, Japanese, Korean, considering they said that's still going to stay at 140 because there's much more information in a single Chinese or Japanese character than there is in a letter, English.
Oh, so you can say more in Japanese or Chinese, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying.
Because you still get the same amount of characters, but you can express yourself better.
Yeah, like again, I'm in no way an expert in Japanese, characters or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, one character means.
I took Spanish in high school, Italian in college, and I speak English. Obviously, I took those languages, which are pretty close to English, and they kicked my ass pretty good.
Yeah, I was horrible in Spanish, and I thought this was supposed to roll out tonight. But I'm not seeing anything yet. I'm on my phone right now to see if there's any updates. And there was a Twitter.
So my question is, can I do something like 350 words? Because don't they have the things on the internet where you can it'll translate it for you, it'll convert what you say. So can I do like 400 words and then convert it to Japanese and post it to Twitter, and then other people can just see the translation? Then you get more characters that way.
I don't know.
You get more stuff.
People wouldn't understand you.
Well, but you just got to know that, hey, convert my stuff translate my stuff to English. Because don't they do the C translation right on there?
I guess I could. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just trying to find a way to cheat this. I don't like Twitter. I don't.
I do. I like Twitter. Yeah, it looks like they actually switched over to it now. So
okay, Adam, I love it that you like Twitter because I hate Twitter. So then for things with the Empire Media and for this show, I'm glad that you can handle Twitter. And I like Facebook. I like Facebook. I mean, all social media is dumb, but I like Facebook.
I think Facebook is more for I don't know. I'll save that. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, we are on Facebook
Yeah,
Live right now.
I know.
Yes.
Sad news, former MLB pitcher, former ace of the Toronto Blue Jays and the Philadelphia Phillies, Roy Halladay, died in a plane crash today.
Oh my! I did not know that.
40 years old. Yeah.
No kidding.
10 miles west of St. Petersburg. But yeah, I mean, you go and he was in a plane. It's called called an Icon A5? Is that what it was called?
Oh, okay. Well, that's a cool plane.
It was, yeah. I'm trying to get the actual Icon. What was it? That was an Icon A5. I think that's
a plane.
Yeah,
that is definitely a plane.
But it's a 2-seater, not very big.
Was he flying?
Yeah, he was flying it. I guess he just purchased it not too long ago. His Twitter feed was full of pictures. It looked like he was just having the time of his life, with this plane. He was actually a big big enthusiast of aviation because his dad was a commercial pilot.
Oh, okay.
But he retired back in 2013. I believe it was shortly after that he was able to obtain his pilot license, and then most recently he was able to purchase this small plane, which again looked like he was using all the time. He put plenty of videos up on it on Twitter of him flying it, and yeah, it's just very, very sad to hear of this. He was an incredible pitcher too.
Oh, he was great.
2-time Cy Young winner, through the 20th perfect game in MLB history. And actually threw a no-hitter in the playoffs as well. Incredible pitcher. Will be in the Hall of Fame one day. But yeah, definitely sad news to hear of Roy Halladay passing away today because of due to a plane crash. It looked like he was the only one in the plane as well. So, by the sound of it, nobody else passed. During today's accident. Let's see what we have here. Here we go. Sticking with sports. UCLA players arrested in China today for shoplifting. ESPN reports that LiAngelo Ball, which I believe is the brother of Lonzo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill have been accused of shoplifting in Hangzhou, China, where the team is scheduled to play a game against Georgia Tech on Friday.
Why in the hell are you in China shoplifting?
Statement from UCLA Athletics. We are aware of a situation involving UCLA student athletes in Hangzhou, China. The university is cooperating fully with local authorities on this matter, and we have no further comment at this time. Look, I'm not going to, especially with China, who doesn't exactly have the most pristine human rights record. Yeah. The last thing I'm going to want to do is fuck around like that with, in another country. I don't know. Yeah, who knows what's gonna happen?
I'm a bunch of dopes.
I'm sure at the very least they're gonna get expelled from the country.
This is breaking. It looks like there was a few House Republican in Utah just took a seat in the House, and looks like there was one other House election that we're waiting on as well. These obviously must be replacement elections, or not emergency elections, but they're obviously filling a seat, having a temporary spot.
Yeah,
they'll be up for re-election next year again, basically, is what's happening with these. But there are a few coming into the House, so could shift slightly. Curtis is the Republican who just took House seat number 3 in Utah.
Yeah, that's Utah though.
Yeah, no, it's not, but it's just we had said that there wasn't, any congressional, but there technically is a few congressional seats to fill some vacancies.
Let's see what else we have here. Let's see if I can get one more in. Here we go. 2017 is one of the hottest years on record.
Really?
Yes. I know you're not a big fan of climate change, and I didn't really want to mention that because I didn't want to go into a climate change thing here. But yes, the World Meteorological Organization says 2017 was one of the hottest years on record. I don't know if it was it very hot here in Michigan? I can't really recall.
We had some hot days.
Yeah,
we had some hot days.
Yeah. Let's see. 2017 is said to be about 1.1 degrees Celsius warmer than pre-industrial area. So, there you go.
Cool. Excellent. Well, that, I think, does it for this week's edition of the XCast. Tune in next week. Again, we'll actually be streaming live on Monday, but we'll still be here on Tuesday as well, however you want to do it. And if you're somebody that listens via download, well, that will not change for you at all. So you can watch us Monday or Tuesday or Monday and Tuesday. Either one. But it will be a Deep Issues show. And our deep issue that we are covering next week, again, in the conspiracy realm, if you will, we are covering the Deep State. So join me and Adam and hopefully Ed and perhaps Kyle as we delve into the deepness of that issue. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate it. See you soon.